morning and happy Sabbath. Nice to see all of you out today. Our prayer thought will be taken from the book Symbolic Code, Volume 3. That's the Symbolic Code, Volume 3, number 3 and 4. And I'm reading from page 3 over to page 4. And it states, "The preacher has a great time. If his hair is gray, he's too old. If he is a young man, he has not had experience enough. If he's single, he's a flirt. If he's married, he's like all other folk. If his wife is old, she's an hindrance to him. If she's young, he pays too much attention to her. If he has 10 children, he has too many. If he has none, he's setting a bad example. If his wife sings in the choir, she's presuming. If she does not, she isn't interested in her husband's work. If the preacher reads from notes, he's a bore. If he speaks extemporaneously, he isn't deep enough. If he stays at home in his study, he doesn't mix enough with the people. If he's seen around the streets, he ought to be at home setting up a good sermon. If he calls on the poor, he's playing to the grandstand. If he calls at homes of the wealthy, he's an aristocrat. Whatever he does, someone could have told him how to do better." Interesting, eh? And so, whatever I say today, someone will have an opinion. And I hope that we will all leave with a good opinion. Poor preacher. Let's pray. Heavenly Father, we gather in your presence today once again. And as we're about to study a portion of your words, we beg thee to tabernacle with us. You said where 2 or 3 are gathered together, touching anything in your name, there you'll be in the midst to bless. And you are not a man that you should lie, nor the son of man that you should change. So as our Father, we hold your words to be true, and we claim your promise that you will be with us. Now you've told us that deep calleth unto deep, and today we want to go deep. And so we pray that you will open our understanding, that we may comprehend your words. And I pray that you will help us to be better people, to be drawn closer to thee in these days in which we live. Is in my prayer in Jesus' name. Amen. Now we'll start with John chapter 10, verse 27, and it's behind me on the screen. Jesus speaking, and he says, this is Jesus, sheep, hear my voice. Now sheep is both singular and plural. Okay? It's one of those words that are both singular and plural. He says, my sheep hear my voice, and I know them, and they follow me, showing that he was not talking in the singular term, but he's speaking to his people collectively. Because they, he says, follow me. John 10, verse 27. Now, the sheep knows his voice, not face. They recognize his voice, and they follow his voice. John chapter 10 and verse 16. We just read John chapter 10 and verse 27. John 10, verse 16 states, "And other sheep I have, which are not of this fold, them also I must bring, and they, the other sheep, shall hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. Now these other sheep hears his voice, just as the farmer heard his voice in verse 27. What is his voice? Now, when I speak at home, my wife knows my voice, and she might know Sister Claudia's voice, or Brother Laverne's voice. We know each other's voice. But what is the voice of the Lord? What does it sound like? Is it a high pitch, a low pitch? Sometimes when you watch movies and people are given a general idea of what God sounds like when he spoke the Ten Commandments, you always hear, and God says, in a deep bass voice. Now that's the perception human beings have, that God must have a deep bass, strong sounding voice, which might not be so. It might be that still small voice that Elijah heard. With whatever his voice is, we have never heard his voice personally, but the sheep are told that they hear his voice. When Samuel was a young man, he heard the Lord's voice, and whatever Eli's voice was like, he thought it was Eli. So he never heard this rough bass voice. I don't know what Eli's voice sounded like, but he heard the voice and he thought it was Eli. But we're assured here that my sheep hear my voice, and there shall be one fold and one shepherd. Now let's turn to Revelation chapter 3, verse 14 through to verse 19. And if we have our Bibles in hand, we will go there. I didn't put that on the screen. Sister Swan, you have your Bible beside you? I'm going to kindly ask you to read Revelation chapter 3. What is the voice of the Lord? What does it sound like today? How do we know the voice of the Lord?
And unto the angel of the church of the Laodiceans write, These things saith the Amen, the faithful and the true witness, the beginning of the creation of God. I know thy works, that thou art neither cold nor hot. I would thou wert cold or hot. So then, because thou art lukewarm and neither cold nor hot, I will spew thee out of my mouth. Because thou sayest, I am rich and increase with goods and have need of nothing, and knowest not that thou art wretched and miserable and poor and blind and naked. I counsel thee to buy of me gold tried in fire, that thou mayest be rich in white raiment, that thou mayest be clothed, and that the shame of thy nakedness do not appear, and anoint thine eyes with eye salve, that thou mayest see.
No, thanks. Stop right there, bit. I'm going to have to continue after I made a comment. Here the Lord starts in verse 14. And he's addressing the angel to the church of the Laodicean. And after telling them the condition that they're in, he continues to verse 19. When the angel refuses to listen, he states that as many as I love, I rebuke and chasten. So having left the angel, he is now addressing many. If the angel won't listen, he speaks to the flock. And if the flock won't listen, he says in verse 20, Behold, the angel won't listen, the many won't listen, but behold, I stand at the door and knock. If any man hear my voice, the angel won't listen, the many won't listen. But if any man hear my voice and open the door, I will come in to him and will sup with him, and he with me. So having addressed the angel, and the angel refused to listen, having spoken to the many, and the many refused to listen, his voice is now going to the individuals. No. To the angel of the church of the Laodicean, who would it be that would be responsible for them hearing the Lord's voice? What does the Lord's voice sound like? The many wouldn't listen. The angel wouldn't listen. But the voice is speaking to the individual. Micah 6, verse 8 through to 9 states, He, God, hath showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humble with thy God. The Lord's voice crieth unto the city, and the man, the individual of wisdom, shall now see thy name. Hear he the rod, and who? God is speaking. Who hath appointed it? So having spoken to the angel, having spoken to the congregation, the voice of God is now speaking to the individual, and the voice that speaks is the shepherd's rod message. They hear and they're saved, they refuse to listen and they're lost. And this is not man speaking. He, God, hath showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy God. The Lord's voice crieth unto the city, and the man of wisdom shall not only hear now, but once they accept their seeing. So, the shepherd message came to the church through the Sabbath school quarterlies. And let me just bring it quickly. For those who want, I hope I copied it here. Okay, I have them. Copies of the quarterly. This is a copy of the Sabbath school quarterly, Sabbath school lesson. And this was the first study in a series of study on the book of Isaiah. And this came in the third quarter of 1928. Now those who want a copy of these set of quarterly, you can get them. This is the first one that came September 29th, 1928. Now when this quarterly came and they started to study the book of Isaiah by M.L. Anderson, Brother Houghton was there and all the members of the church were studying the quarterly. That's the first one in 28. This is the second in the series, Isaiah 53. And this was the fourth quarter, 1928. December 29th. And it was through the series of the last of the series, this one, that the message came out. This is when now the Lord spoke to him. But all the series are there. And in this last series, the voice of the Lord started to talk. Now let's go back and we'll come back to that a little more. And that came in 1929 when the message came. And this is the individual, Victor Tashish Houghton, whom the message came through. And we're going through some historical stuff as we progress. This was the man. Now, in 1929, the first present truth study was given based on Isaiah 54, January the 6th. And this reference is in track 13, page 43. That's the first time a shepherd rod study was given. January 6, 1929. The very, very first time, based on the book of Isaiah. And that's when the Lord's voice started to speak. But the Lord was still trying to reach the angel. In 1930, the truth of the 144,000 was revealed on February 1st. Shepherd's Rod, Volume 1, the manuscript, 33 copies delivered to the leading brethren, the angel of the SDA denomination, in June. That's in 1930. Shepherd Rod, Volume 1, 5,000 copies published in December the 4th. And this is now 1930. So the first set of books are rolling out of the press right on December 4th, closing off the year. Now we continue. In 1932, the first trip made in the interest of the message. First trip. The Shepherd's Rod Volume 2, 5,000 copies, published on October the 2nd, and this is 1932. The first public meeting, or the first meeting held in a public hall, November the 12th, 1932. Many people in the church at this time have still not heard anything about the Shepherd's Rod message, but the leading men have the manuscript and now some of the books. These are the two books. So by 1932, October the 2nd, both books were available. Track 1, the first track, the first edition, 3,000 copies, was published August the 24th. And I left off the year, and this was 1934. First time he started to understand about the chariot. 33, thanks, 33. And this is when this study brought out that the chariot came with a message. The first Seventh-day Adventist minister to accept the Shepherd Rod message, December 5th, 1933. And this was this man, Wilson. Okay? First SDA minister, December 15th. 1934, the conference decided, the committee, to investigate the message. This is from 29, and they had several years now. They just decided to sit down and look at the message. This is about 4 years. And thank you for me. 4 or 5 years. Let's go 5 years. This is February 25th. The first convention held February 25th to March the 12th. Same 34. Now listen, I'll read this statement from Exodus 19, page, this is verse 3 to 5. And as Moses went unto God, and the Lord called unto him out of the mountain, saying, Thus shalt thou say to the house of Jacob, and tell the children of Israel, Ye have seen what I did unto the Egyptians, and how I bare you on eagle's wings, and brought you unto myself. Now therefore, if ye will obey my voice. No, Moses was the one who was speaking to them. And the Lord is telling them if they will obey his voice. Now when the Lord's voice cried unto the city, it is not the man that they are commanded to listen. It's the Lord speaking through the instrument. Just as the Lord spoke through the instrument, Moses. If ye will obey, you don't have to. It's your choice. If ye will obey my voice indeed, and keep my covenant, then ye shall be a peculiar treasure unto me above all people, for all the earth is mine. Exodus 19, verse 3 through to 5. So the voice came. The conference men decided to meet, and they met. Listen what he says. Track TG Volume 2, number 35. And it's a coincidence that this was written in number 35, and he's going to tell what happened in 1935. When we moved our office from California to Texas, where we had neither friend nor believer in the message, the church elders were glad and thought our work would then die out for sure. It nevertheless grew more than before, although this took place in the midst of the Depression. In 1935, Jacob too had no righteousness of his own, but he had a great zeal and respect for the righteousness of the Lord. Now, why did I show you all that historical reference? Some people believe that when the message came in 1929, Mount Carmel was established then and there. But when Brother Houghton gave the historical record, for over 5 years, the Lord neither provoked the church, agitated them, collected tithe, nor called the members out of the church. None of that was done. None of that was done. No. The reason why, and I'm going to say this for those who know about the Carmel, Bashan, and Gilead, reference. For those who do not know, I'm going to go back a bit so we probably can understand historically where I'm heading. When the Shepherd Rod message came in 1929, it came as a message of revival and reformation for the Seventh-day Adventist Church. Brother Houghton, as an instrument, never knew where the Lord was going to lead exactly. He just followed as the Lord directed. Now, in the first book that he wrote, this reference was found in the Shepherd's Rod. I quote from Micah 7:14. Feed thy people with thy rod, the flock of thine heritage which dwells solitary in the wood, in the midst of Carmel. Let them feed in Bashan and Gilead, as in the days of old. Micah 7 verse 14. Again, note, the men of wisdom shall see thy name. The wisdom mentioned is not that which the world can give, but a heavenly one. The Way version reads as follows: and salvation, open and close bracket, wisdom, shall be to them that fear or see thy name. Hear ye, O tribes, O ye tribes. The same thought is brought over in the 7th chapter, verse 14. Feed thy people with thy rod, the flock of thine heritage which dwells solitary in the wood, in the midst of Carmel. Let them feed in Bashan and Gilead, as in the days of old. Feed thy people with thy rod. The verb feed is to be understood as spiritual food. And that food, or truth, is found in the rod. Therefore, we again have the command to give out the book. Feed, thy, or God's people. Carmel, Bashan, and Gilead are used as symbols of good spiritual pasture. These places are where Israel had their victories. Mount Carmel is where Elijah had his experience with the backslidden children, backslidden Israel in the days of Ahab. It was in Carmel where Elijah, brought the fire from heaven, which consumed the sacrifice upon the altar, after which he slew the prophets of Baal. We quote Micah 7, verse 15, according to the days of thy coming out of the land of Egypt, which I will show unto him marvelous things. Based on this statement that was written and came out in 1930, some teach that you couldn't have spiritual food without a pasture. And since Brother Houghton wrote this statement in 1929, 1930, it is indicative that Carmel came into being then. Let me go again. Since this was written in 1929, folks believe that it is applicable right then when it was written. So Mount Carmel came into being in 1929 because the people could not have been fed unless Carmel came into being. Do you understand what I'm saying? Okay. Now I'm going to read a statement as we progress from what I just said. Genesis chapter 3, verse 14 to 15. So some teach that it was Carmel came into being. So Los Angeles, California, where the message came, was Mount Carmel. That was the first Mount Carmel. The second Mount Carmel was at Texas. And the third Mount Carmel, is wherever from there. But once Mount Carmel starts at Texas, and then Mount Carmel Los Angeles, and then it moved to Texas, Mount Carmel is spiritual, not something tangible like this glass. It can float and move anywhere. based on the statement in 1 SR. Those who say that since he wrote it in 29, it became applicable in 29. That's a thought. Now listen to this reference. If we use that statement as a justification, that Mount Carmel started because he wrote it then, anything that is written there and then, anywhere in inspiration must become applicable immediately. Hear what inspiration says here in Genesis. And the Lord God said unto the serpent, because thou hast done this, thou art cursed above all cattle, and above every beast of the field. Upon thy belly shalt thou go, and thus shalt thou eat all the days of thy life. And I will put enmity between thee and the woman, and between thy seed and her seed. It shall bruise thy head, and thou shalt bruise his heel. No, this was written in Genesis. Did it become applicable when it was written? No. This is what inspiration as it says. The Savior's coming was foretold in Eden. When Adam and Eve first heard the promise, they looked for its speedy fulfillment. They joyfully welcomed their firstborn son, hoping that he might be the deliverer. So, not because something is written means it becomes applicable at the moment it is written. So it is one or two things. Carmel came into existence at the point in time when the statement was written in 29, or it was a prophetic statement for a future event. Now, if Mount Carmel came into being in Los Angeles, Mount Carmel is not then a tangible place. It can move. So the place that the message came from in Los Angeles, if that was Mount Carmel, then anywhere is Mount Carmel. You have the justification to move Mount Carmel to Texas, then you can move it from Texas to Carolina, and you can move it from Carolina to Mountain Dale in New York, and you can move it from there, and you can bring it anywhere, because it's just an intangible spiritual thing that floats anywhere. But that's not what the message teaches. Los Angeles has never ever been called Carmel. Never, not once in the message. And he himself delineates clearly, coming down, what the Lord directed him to do. So he told from 29 January the 6th, the first time a shepherd study was given. And he continues in 1930. He continues down to 32, down to 33, right down to 34, and all the way to 35. That's when they moved in 35. And incidentally, it was in 1934, at the end of 34, when he was about to move, that's when he started to collect the tithe. And this is what he says about that. The latest news to Mother, and the first copy was in 34. Next copy was 41 and 43. He says, this is 34, shortly before moving to Mount Carmel. The instruction in the Shepherd's Rod, Volume 1, page 251, pay your honest tithe and offering to your church, and feel that it is your Father's house, came near the close of 1930, before the leading brethren as a denomination had rejected the sealing message. Clearly, then, the Shepherd Rod has faithfully discharged its duty in refusing to accept any tithes or offerings until after the books were scattered throughout the denomination and after the brethren began bitterly to oppose the message. So this is not only the angel knowing about the brethren, the angel and the many. Now though, since the opposition is no longer passive, but intensely active, and the proclamation of the message supremely urgent, the only course open is apparent. It will take an army of workers, including the tithes and the offerings, to reach the people. So what the Lord was doing now, as they're about to move to Mount Carmel, the tithes is being brought in. So the Lord gave the church 6 years to get their act together. The angel and the many. And as the Lord saw that they were unwilling to accept the truth, the Lord now called for the tithe to reach the individuals that was serious. And so those who were now serious saw the Lord moving. Not only did they hear, they're now seeing what the Lord was doing. And so, the truth moved, and he states, the first issue of the symbolic code was published July the 15th, and this is now 35. And this is the land that he bought. In its pristine, this is a historical photograph taken from an aerial view. And this is what the place was like in 35. And you can see there is no buildings around. It is solitary in the wood. Country. And these are the individuals that landed on the spot in 1935. You're a bit far away, so you can't see the names, but for those who want, you can get the study, the soft copy if you desire. And they landed there. It was on the sacred spot, and it says we ate lunch at about 1 p.m. Friday, praising God for his tender care over the group on the entire journey. And 12 individuals landed there, and Brother Houghton took his picture, and Wilson is sitting in the front. And Sister Houghton is to the right beside her mother. No. Listen what he says. It might be in, this is 1935. In 1929, Brother Houghton wrote this statement about Carmel, Bashan, and Gilead. That's 29. He wrote it and gave an explanation of it. But in 1935, he made a statement. This is a letter. It might be interesting to Elder G to know that the naming of our camp, Mount Carmel Center, came about in the same way as the naming of our publications, the Shepherd's Rod. For we did not know beforehand that it was in prophecy until after our attention was called to it. Was called Micah 7:14 and Amos 1 verse 2. So here Brother Houghton is saying, he wrote something in 1929, and in 1935, he's saying that he never knew that it was there. It is just like Sister White. She gets a dream, and it's blank, and she has stated over and over, when she sees the people, it comes clear back to her like it just was a dream she just had. So having written the statement on Carmel, Bashan, and Gilead, he by himself is saying he didn't know that it was there because the Lord took it from his mind. So for anyone to say that Los Angeles was Carmel, when he himself is saying that he didn't even know it was there, how could that be? All the time he spent in Los Angeles was a probationary period that the Lord gave the church, the angel, and the many ample time to get their act together. No, to reach the many in Brother Houghton's days, that each individual was going to take hundreds of thousands of dollars then, which would be tons of millions today. And so, he's saying that he did not know that the statement existed. That's in 35. And this was the land, and he says the same way they entitled the message, the same way Carmel was named, and he did not know that it was in Scripture. He himself explained it 6 years before, and the Lord took it from his mind and left it there hidden, and he couldn't talk about it. Nobody could, because his hand was over it. And so, chapter 13, Christ's Greetings, was written in 1941, and now he is given an historical tracing from the Adventist church straight through the Shepherd's Rod message, how it came and what occurred and whatever dates. And this is what he said. Mount Carmel's progress. Mount Carmel's progress. 1935, site purchase, March 15th. None of the stuff on the board I put, it's just copy and paste straight from the track. So Mount Carmel came into being by his own admission, March the 15th, 1935.
Yes.
So no Mount Carmel existed before. So for those who are teaching that there's a Mount Carmel in Los Angeles, then the Mount Carmel moved to Texas, and then from there can move again. That's not according to this. And there's nowhere in the rod, not even one line, not one page, not one word, not one letter, that Los Angeles was Mount Carmel. It doesn't exist. And he himself is saying, Mount Carmel came into being on March the 15th, 1939. No, some say, because Brother Houghton used the word, and let me go back, so I can put the reference on the board. Right here. Feed, the verb feed is to be understood as spiritual food, and that food truth is found in the rod. Therefore, we again have the command to give out the book. Feed God's people. Carmel, Bashan, and Gilead are used as symbols of good spiritual pasture. Because the word spiritual is there, some people say spiritual is indicated that it's not tangible. It wasn't while it was called Mount Carmel, spiritual is indicative that it can float away, move. But does it mean spiritual as in ghostly, or spiritual as where spiritual food is brought from? So some people say it's both physical and spiritual as in ghostly. So it can move. So while it brings us physical food, it's also spiritual as in ghostly, it can shift. Now this is what he says. To answer that, whether it's talking spiritual ghostly or spiritual physical place that he brought, where spiritual truth is coming from, this is what he says. Same track 13, given an historical progress. In 1942, roads cut through a spiritual place as ghostly. You only can cut roads through a physical place. And it says in 1942, roads were cut through Mount Carmel, full stop. Now, if we go over Neosho, and the tractor is going over there to cut road through some trees, I don't expect somebody to tell me that Mount Carmel or Neosho floated away yesterday, so they came late. That's not possible. So it is a physical place. And this is the road that was cut through. That's the historical picture. And it says this road that we're looking at, they started to cut through it in 1942. So you see, from 35, it took them 7 years to acquire the means to start doing the bulldozing work. So you know how they were getting around. Their path was through what they made with their leg, foot. So it took them a while before this. So as the tide started to flow in, they started to do development. This was a gate. And this is a road that's cut through Texas. And it's not spiritual, it is something physical. But the difference at Mount Carmel is that spiritual truth came from there. Now this is a historical map, what the place looked like in about 36. Where the red is highlighted is where Mount Carmel Center was. The city, as you can see, is about 5 miles away. The smaller the subdivisions of lots and small dividing of the land across to your right. And you see Mount Carmel is one vast place alone, solitary in the wood. If they have to go to town, they drive to town, they pick up what they want, and they come back. And all that we're looking at right there is physical. Amen. Now, these are people that was there. This is a picture with Brother Houghton and Florence Houghton, M.J. Bingham and his first wife and Brother Trevor's older sister. It was taken in 1940. Okay? Now, listen what it says. I'm going to bring some more stuff on the board. No one is wanted on Carmel. This is Brother Houghton now. All of this. No one is wanted on Carmel. So Brother Houghton identified. No one is a physical person is wanted on Carmel who has not studied the message of the shepherd's rod, true and true, who is not fully convinced, convicted, convinced on every point of its teaching, who is not walking in its penetrating light, and who is not willing to comply with the divine rules and principles which govern the inhabitants of this mount of green pastures, except their coming be for a visit only. Others than visitors, before coming, must first communicate with Mount Carmel's Information Bureau. That's a physical place. And now he's calling this place Carmel. Volume 1 of the Symbolic Code, number 15, page 9. And that's the place that he called Carmel. Volume 1 of the Symbolic Code, number 18, page 10. Those having clothing, shoes, or bed covering in good condition, and who wish to dispose of it, we would be glad to have them send it to Mount Carmel. Thank you. Send it to where? No. If they're going to send it to Mount Carmel, you need an address. You need an address. Instruction on how to find Mount Carmel. So let's say we leave and we're sending it by FedEx. FedEx need an address. Now, is Mount Carmel in Carolina, New York? Is it in Spain? Where did Brother Houghton? Where did inspiration say it is? Now, those that despise Moses' voice, under the witness of 2 or 3 witnesses, you know what will happen to them? How much more today, if you will hear the Lord's voice, what we must not do? Harden our hearts. Those who desire to visit Mount Carmel may, upon reaching Waco, follow Cass on Franklin Street to Highway 67, then turn to the right on Highway 67 for about 1.5 miles to Lake Waco. Just before crossing the bridge, you will see a sign on the right-hand side of the road with the inscription, Mount Carmel Center. Climb the hill in the direction the sign points, and you will find the place. If they should wish to get in touch first with Sister Colvin, they may do so by phoning, and he gives a number, or calling at the resident at 2301 Holman Avenue. No. If we followed these directions today, no group on planet Earth who call themselves Mount Carmel is at this address. None. This is why Carmel becomes spiritual, ghostly, and can float. But if it is tangible, it cannot move. And if we say it's moved, show us where it's moved. There is no statement. There's not one book. There's not one paragraph. There's not one page. There is not one word. Only where that ghostly comes from is in our head bowl. It cannot be found in the golden bowl. Amen. If anybody can find it, I'd like to see it. But it doesn't exist. The computer says it doesn't exist. The internet says it doesn't exist. The Davidians know it don't exist. And God knows it doesn't exist. No. Inspiration continues. He, God, hath showed thee, O man, what is good, and what doth the Lord require of thee, but to do justly, and to love mercy, and to walk humbly with thy God. John's voice cried unto the city. Mary's voice cried unto the city. Sam's voice cried unto the city. Tim's voice cried unto the city. That's not what it says. It says the Lord's voice. And no group on planet Earth today that call themselves Carmel is at this address. And the reason why they're not at the address, and the reason why Carmel now becomes ghostly, that's the only justification you can use to try to say Carmel exists. Inspiration continues. Hebrews chapter 10, verse 28 through to 31. He that despised Moses' law died without mercy under 2 or 3 witnesses. Of how much sorer punishment, suppose he, shall he be thought worthy who had trodden underfoot the Son of God, and had counted the blood of the covenant, where he was sanctified, an unholy thing, and had done despite unto the Spirit of grace. For we know him that hath said, vengeance belongeth to me, should be me. I will recompensate the Lord. And again, the Lord shall judge his people. It is a fearful thing to fall into the hands of the living God. No, how could we go in and say that God can put Mount Carmel anywhere? Where is that written? And this is why Davidian is so divided. Because there's too much egg bowl. If we follow this direction, we cannot go wrong. Those who desire to visit Mount Carmel may, upon reaching Waco, follow Cass to Franklin Street. These streets don't exist today. These streets do not exist.
But they did then.
This is my first call to officiate in the capacity of this nature. In my remarks, I wish to emphasize the word first. This mother in Israel is one of the first of my converts to the sealing message of the first fruits. She was the first treasurer of the association, and she was among the first to arrive at Mount Carmel. So it's the first person that died. And Brother Houghton is saying this person arrived at Mount Carmel about 6 months ago. So this is telling you, Mount Carmel. And sometimes people play words with Mount Carmel Center is different from Mount Carmel, and it was Mount Carmel Center that was at Texas, but Mount Carmel is the one that can move anywhere. We are playing games with our soul. And we drag and put 10,000 things together to cook up something which don't exist. If it is written, just say it is written. But if you have to try to put 30 statements to prove one point, and none of the statements are saying what we're trying to say, it shows that we're not listening to the voice of God. If it is written, just show that it is right here, and that's it. And this was Mount Carmel. This was the layout of the place. And all these pictures, as I said, the study is available so you can get it. Now, another point of contention is, some say, because Brother Houghton used the word, and let me go to the exact point to show you what is the thought that's mentioned, so you can see exactly what I'm saying. Feed, the verb feed is to be understood as spiritual food, and that food, truth, is found in the rod. Therefore, we again have the command to give out the book, feed God's people. Carmel, Bashan, and Gilead are used as symbol of good spiritual pasture. They say, because the word pasture is there, singular. Carmel, Bashan, and Gilead is one pasture. That's the thought, you know. And so because Carmel, Bashan, and Gilead is one pasture, there is no separate Carmel, Bashan, and Gilead as individual pastures, because Brother Houghton used the word pasture. What people don't realize, and if they go to the Oxford Dictionary, they tell you that pasture is both singular and plural, just like sheep. So these are the games that people play. Now, Brother Houghton himself is going to use the word pasture, and he's going to use it as a plural, and we're going to look at that. That's another game people play. And this is what he says with the word pasture to see, let's go there, Shepherd of Volume 2, page 80 through to 81. This picture is drawn from the ancient method of herding the flock. The open pasture of the mountains and hills required the shepherd's continual care of the sheep. The vast territory drew the sheep and the shepherd a considerable distance from home, and the continual movement over the landscape made it impossible to obtain a permanent shelter of any kind for sheep or shepherds. No pastures here, mountain, hills, considerable vast territory. And here the same word again is both plural and singular. And so we play these games to show that Carmel is no ghostly and it can move anywhere over a period of time, and also that Carmel, Bashan, and Gilead is one place, because we don't want to discuss what is Bashan and Gilead. Now we're going to get to that too. Here he's going to tell us whether Carmel, Bashan, and Gilead, when he used the word pasture, if he was intending for it to be something singular or plural. The earth mourneth and languisheth. Lebanon is a shame and hewn down. Sharon is like a wilderness, and Bashan and Carmel shake off their fruits, the nouns. In this verse, being profoundly figurative, and the time of fulfillment yet future, we are unprepared to make any comments, and we're going to get back to this. So here, inspiration is saying, I never told you that these three places are one place. Where you got that from? They're nouns. And people, the dictionary call it inclusive nouns, where you have, like Sister White, as the volume with one book, of the books in there. And so, then again, it tells us, and we wonder, if we are sincere, are sincerely sincere, are sincerely mistaken, are sincerely misleading, are sincerely misled, are sincerely ignorant, are willfully ignorant. If we stick with it is written, we cannot go wrong. That's all the Lord is asking us to do. And this is constant split. No. Another point with this Carmel issue, I'm going to read a reference. If the prophets could not declare the positive truth of what they saw, then how can a Bible student, without either vision or inspiration, if the prophet don't know what he's saying, how could any Bible student? It doesn't matter how studious we are. This is why we have the golden bowl. And so, we are all Bible students. And even although we're Bible students, we still cannot go in and just come up with what we want. No. The next point is this. And I'm going to bring up a letter to Elder G about Carmel shaking off his fruit. And those who believe Carmel will exist up to the end, we're going to bring the letter up. But I'm going to read the context of a statement that Sister White wrote. Listen what he says. Micah 11, sorry. Sister Sue, you want to read this, please?
Micah 4:11. Now also many nations are gathered against thee that say, let her be defiled, and let our eye look upon Zion. As soon as God's church as a body, not as individuals, escapes the clutches of the devil, for the unclean shall not enter in, and becomes earnest, filled with the Spirit of God, the wrath of the old enemy will be aroused, and will bring about the fulfillment of Revelation 12, verse 17. And the dragon was wroth with the woman, and went to make war with the remnant of her seed, which keep the commandments of God, and have the testimony of Jesus. This time of trouble is also described by the spirit of prophecy. Early writings, pages 33 and 34. And at the commencement of the time of trouble, we were filled with the Holy Ghost as we went forth and proclaimed the Sabbath more fully. The wicked thought that we had brought the judgments upon them, and they rose up and took counsel to rid the earth of us, thinking that then the evil would be stayed. In the time of trouble, we all fled from the cities and villages, but were pursued by the wicked, who entered the houses of the saints with the sword. Also pages 282 and 283. I saw the saints leaving the cities and villages and associating together in companies and living
in the most
solitary places.
Angels provided them food and water while the wicked were suffering from hunger and thirst. Then I saw the leading men of the earth consulting together, and Satan and his angels busy around it. I saw a writing of copies which were scattered in different parts of the land. And Sister White is just saying, I saw. No chronological outline. What was number 1 that you saw? What is number 2? What is number 3? What is number 4? No chronological order. She's just saying she saw. Brad Houghton is quoting early writings, and he's basing that on Revelation 12:17. And this is the first reference he gave from early writings, indicating how the saints will be fleeing, how there will be pamphlets, how the wicked will go in their homes. No. Again, he says, if the prophets could not declare the positive truth of what they saw, then how can Bible student without either vision or inspiration? We have to depend on the prophets to tell us what is what. No. In 1935, Brother Houghton is going to write a letter to Elder G. And this letter was written in the symbolic code. And it says, thus we are establishing our headquarters on this mount that is found in prophecy. But our stay here shall be very, very short, for we will finish the work and cut it short in righteousness, because a short work will the Lord make upon the earth. Romans 9 verse 28. It might be interesting to Elder G to know that the naming of our camp, Mount Carmel Center, came about in the same way as the naming of our publication, The Shepherd's Rod, for we did not know beforehand that it was in prophecy until after our attention was called, Micah 7:14 and Amos 1 verse 2. In the prophecy of Amos we read, the Lord will roar from Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the habitations of the shepherd shall mourn, and the top of Carmel shall wither. With a few comments on the above scripture, any Bible student, no, we're all Bible students. And Brother Houghton is saying, with a few comments on the above scripture, any Bible student will recognize at a glance that it applies to the time of the end, as is explained by the gospel prophet. No. Any Bible student, we all are Bible students in here. And if we took up Amos chapter 1 and verse 2, I couldn't interpret it without inspiration. So although I'm a Bible student, Brother Houghton is saying any Bible student could see at a glance that it applies to the time of the end, as explained by the gospel prophet. And it shall come to pass in the last days that the mountain of the Lord's house shall be established on the top of the mountains, and shall be exalted above the hills. For out of Zion shall go forth the law and the word of the Lord from Jerusalem. Isaiah 2, verse 2 and 3. He not knowing that this text will be applicable to the kingdom. It's saying, which in the language of Amos is, utter his voice from Jerusalem. Look into this time, Joel puts it as follows, and the Lord shall utter his voice before his army, for his camp is very great, for he is strong that executeth his word. For the day of the Lord is great and very terrible, and who can abide it? Joel 2 verse 11. As Amos says, the habitations of the shepherd shall mourn. It is obvious that Amos' prophecy is yet future, for the word habitations, places, is in the plural form, which cannot be applied to one shepherd's habitation or denomination, but to all that be in existence at that time. Note that the shepherds are not themselves to mourn, but their habitations, their houses, that is, the membership of their churches, which fact reveals that it will be thus at a time when the sleeping multitudes in the churches awake from their spiritual insensibility and find that the shepherds, whom they have implicitly trusted for their salvation, had deceived all those who followed them. The prophet Jeremiah in the following words explained this, that this wailing by those who are thus deceived will be at the close of probation. For they shall say, the harvest is past, the summer is ended, and we are not saved. Jeremiah 8, verse 20. That is, after the harvest, the time in which they could have been saved, they will realize that probationary time has closed. Then the habitations of the shepherd shall mourn, and the top of Carmel shall wither. Hence, before that time, the top of Carmel must have been green with much pasture. Otherwise, there will be nothing to wither. That is, though Carmel has now plenty pasture, present truth, when probation closes, it shall be deserted. Open and close bracket. Wither, for says the spirit of prophecy, in the time of trouble, we all fled the cities and the villages. Now some say, based on this statement written in 1935, this letter to Elder G, when Carmel comes to an end is when probation closes. And this statement becomes the statement that is held on to for dear life to show that Carmel probation cannot close until the end. And some say that this is also indicated that the kingdom in Mount Zion is Mount Carmel. Since Brother Houghton taught here that all the great multitude would come and all of them would leave and flee to the hills and the mountain, that since we all know now that his understanding at 35 could not be applicable today in the light of present truth, because we'll be in the kingdom. They say then that this experience was not talking about Mount Carmel in Texas, but Mount Carmel in the kingdom. So Mount Carmel really floated from Texas and will be in the kingdom, which is not in the rod. Now, how do we reconcile this statement? Because it is a statement that is very potent. Now listen, this is the statement that is held on to for dear life to show that Mount Carmel will exist to the end. But this is not the only comment that Brother Houghton made on Amos. If the prophets could not declare the positive truth of what they saw, then how can a Bible student without either vision or inspiration? This statement Brother Houghton wrote based on this understanding what Sister White had in early writings about fleeing to the rocks and the mountains. So the argument, the premise was built upon what Sister White wrote in early writings. But later the Lord is going to come and correct the view. But no Davidian who believe in the existence of Carmel. Go to the next statement. No, which statement I'm talking about? Let me read, and then I go to the statement. 2 Samuel 7, verse 2 to 5, and verse 12 to 13. And I'm going to read this statement and go back to the one in symbolic code. Sister Swan, can you read this Bible reference, please?
That the king said unto Nathan the prophet, See now, I dwell in a house of cedar, but the ark of God dwelleth within curtains. And Nathan said to the king, Go, do all that is in thine heart, for the Lord is with thee.
Now stop. David was in his home. And from the time they came out of the wilderness, David was saying, it's not fair for me to have a home, and God is living in a tent. The great God is living in a tent. And he's reasoning with the prophet of God, and he said, you know what? I want to build the Lord a house here. And Nathan told him to go and do what? Go do it. Do all that is in your heart. You can go and do it. No. If I was standing right there with Nathan and David, and Nathan told him that, and I left out of that conversation and came here, and you say to me, Brother Guy, who do you believe inspiration has given a mandate to build a house for God? I said, David, I heard Nathan tell him. Nathan told him in my hearing to go and do it. But that's not the end of the conversation. Pick up from the word answer.
And it came to pass that night that the word of the Lord came unto Nathan, saying, Go and tell my servant David, Thus saith the Lord, Shalt thou build me an house for me to dwell in? And when thy days be fulfilled, and thou shalt sleep with thy fathers, I will set up thy seed after thee, which shall proceed out of thy bowels. And I will establish his kingdom and he shall build an house for my name, and I will establish the throne of his kingdom forever.
No, I don't know if the Lord came to Nathan 2 days after, a year after, a month after. But the Lord told Nathan, what you told David, that's not what I intended to bring across. Go back and clarify what was said before. No, he could have said, Lord, I feel embarrassed to do it. It's very embarrassing. The Lord says, no. You said something to him and it needs clarity. He's not going to be the one. He has fought too many wars. Too much blood is on his hand. Solomon is going to be the one. And he went back and corrected what he told him the first time. Now, Brother Houghton wrote something in 35, and he says, any Bible student can take a glance. The Lord saying after, go back and correct Amos 1 verse 2. And it's not any Bible student that will be dealing with this and discussing amongst themselves. I am going to tell you what to say. So once the Lord steps in, we as Bible students sit down and don't debate what was written in 35. Because the Lord is going to tell him, you take the Bible students out of it, and I'm going to tell you what to do with Amos 1 and verse 2. Amen. But we all down to what was written in 35 and totally reject what was written after because we're great Bible students. No. This is what he says. In 1948, the Lord came back to it, and the Lord says, listen, you take out the Bible students out of the discussion. And the prophet did exactly like what Nathan did. He's saying, the Lord will roar from Zion and utter his voice from Jerusalem, and the habitations of the shepherd shall mourn, and the top of Carmel shall wither. No Bible student, no. This scripture you see reflects the tragedy which took place on the top of Carmel in the days of Elijah. Full stop. It has nothing to do with the future. No. You know which one we want? The 35 one. Because it sounds good. Because Carmel is going to be the kingdom. So whatever the text will mean, the Lord says, I will straighten it out at that time. But you leave on record. We have two statements contradicting each other. One is saying it is the past. One is saying it is the future. Which one is correct? The latter. But we are great Bible students. And we want Carmel to exist up to the time of the end. I have never, ever heard no Davidian that hold on to the 35 statement read this one. Never. This they say in their own mind is uninspired. But the next one is inspired. But this is uninspired. Yes, Brother Gary?
Just for clarification, could you explain what this is saying for me, please?
All right, you go again and read it.
Yeah, I know I read it, but what do you understand it to say? I'm not clear.
The tragedy, the Zion, Brother Houghton turns around and applied to something that transpired in the past. And one he said occurred for the future.
I see.
But the one that says in 35 for the future, that's the one they held on to. And this one is not inspired. So the one in 35 is inspired because it points forward. But when it says it points back, they said this cannot be inspired.
So the second sentence doesn't amplify the first.
Exactly. Because it's a conflict now. If it does amplify it, but because it amplified against the view of the first one, it's not inspired. No. How do we, when we do not like something, say it's not inspired? And they're talking to us too, you know. Not because we don't like something or want to do it means it's not inspired. No, he's going to say something very powerful, and I'm going to continue. Here we are given the hint that there's to be another showdown between the prophet of God and the prophets of Baal. The prophets of Baal in our day even boast that they are not inspired, that what they teach and preach is what they themselves discovered by deep study and research. That's it. So what he wrote in 35 as a letter to Elder G, he wrote it based on his understanding from early writings 34. But Sister White didn't give a chronological order of anything there. No. Davidians say that's the kingdom. We'll be running to the rocks on the mountains. The wicked will be chasing us down. We will have food and they won't have no food. We'll be fleeing. The great multitude will gather at way to take us. All these things cannot be consistent, brethren. And we're playing games with our soul. Yes, beloved.
Courtney, do you have a session where you can actually ask questions?
Yeah, you're gonna get the questions. Now, he continues. And this is another view of the same early writings 34 again. As light is coming. He's saying now early writings 34, based on track 5, page 98 and 99, that applies to God's glorious church, not running from the wicked, but this is now the great multitude. Because God's people are the horse riding them and directing the work. And none of these references are read because they're contradictory to our thoughts. Inspiration makes very clear that the Lord's messenger dare not in any way improvise upon revelation, although often privileged to articulate it in his own words. Judged by the same standard, no one else dare meddle with the inspired writer's work. The rational seekers consequently conclude that when appointing one writer is not clear, then only the writer himself should be consulted concerning it if he is living. Otherwise, only the same spirit of inspiration, the original water of the writings, can clarify whatever is involved. Amen. These are, now listen, the more we divide and divide and divide and divide, is the more the work is hindered. Now let me show you all quickly something in coming back, just to give you an idea of what I'm talking about, to show the condition that we're in with this constant division and constant split. No, I was talking to Brother Trevor, and if we printed one piece of literature and gave the 20 million Adventists just one piece of TG, 25 million Adventists, it would cost us $20 million. $20 million to give one piece of literature, even this alone, to each 70 Adventists. $20 million we're looking at it. If we gave and factored in electricity, housing, staff, transportation, without postage, we're looking at about $300 million to reach every Adventist. Where's that money? That's one piece, and each 70 Adventist has to hear the message. $300 million, So even if we had $40 million here in reserve, or 50, we still haven't scratched anything yet. But we're just dividing and splitting and splitting. And the church is a well-oiled war machine with billions of dollars in its coffers. And we constantly are splitting and splitting and splitting over things that are not written. And the devil is laughing at us. And I'm telling you, it's going to take a serious amount of money and a well-organized, united army to reach the church. Because it's a well-oiled machine. And this is just one piece of literature. $300 million. So we haven't even touched the scratch of the surface. And when we're talking about their printing press and all the things that they have at their disposal, we haven't even looked or started to touch the surface as yet. So the Lord knows that we need help. And it's only as we heed what is written will the Lord be able to help us. No, I'm coming to a close because I want to entertain some points, as Brother Caldrick had mentioned. This is the church. And the church is not Mount Carmel. The SDA church is not Mount Carmel. And this is what he says. Moreover, if this prophecy is to be fulfilled, is not to be fulfilled, thank you, then consequently the gospel work will not be finished either. For this prophecy tells the way the work is to be finished. That the law of the Lord during the judgment day of the living is to go from Zion. And the word of the Lord from Jerusalem, not from the SDA church, Tacoma Park, not from Mount Carmel Center. So the SDA church is not Mount Carmel. Never was. Brother Houtiff don't acknowledge it as that. So how we can say that the SDA church is Mount Carmel? The kingdom is Mount Carmel. Waco, what Brother Houtiff was Mount Carmel. Mount Carmel is just floating all over the place. These things are not written in the rod, brethren. And he says, the word not from Tacoma Park, not from Mount Carmel, and not even from right here. Not from some other place. So the Lord is telling us that we're playing around. That's what we're doing. So now listen. Let's say two people are in a corner debating what the scripture means. They're just debating. And this one has $50 and this one has $20 in his pocket. $70. And the person over there that they're debating to take on, he has $2,000 in his pocket. And he says, look at these stupid people over there arguing with their $70. Look at them arguing how to take me on. And you know what? All of us in this room are getting older here. And at the rate we're continuing, none of us will see the kingdom. We're going to keep debating and going around a circle. And then the Lord will have to raise up a young generation. We can't even put our heads together to make $1 billion. And to the people in the world, $1 billion is nothing.
Yes. Unless God removes the stumbling blocks.
Yeah.
But listen now, it continues, the next one again. Not to Tacoma Park, not to Mount Carmel Center, not to some other place, but to the house of Judah and Jerusalem. These are plain statements that the Tacoma Park is not Mount Carmel. And the kingdom is not Mount Carmel. He separates each of them in their bracketed section. This bracket, this bracket, this bracket. There's a big comma. No. Listen what it says. Be it known, therefore, that part of Mount Carmel property is being subdivided for high-class residences, beginning at the old Peach Orchard near Mount Carmel entrance. This is Symbolic Code, Volume 10, Number 1, page 7. And this was written in September 1954, a few months before Brother Houtiff died. And listen what he says. Mount Carmel Center makes the following announcement to all faithful Davidians who realize that this good news is perhaps nothing short of a sign. Mount Carmel Center, by commencing first to sell its excess, then the whole. Do you know, because Brother Houtiff wrote this, some Davidians say that's why God put him to death? Because Brother Houtiff told that all of the place must go. He had no right to do it. Can you imagine that? Because the grass to hold on to this thing that God said has to go, people are saying the Lord put him to death. And he is saying this is a sign. And he's told that the city was coming in. And the Lord put him to death shortly after that. And this is a current map, after 56, that where the land was separated, that's where Mount Carmel was. All of it is now a city. And people are there fighting for land still. And the Lord said, sell it. Sell all of it. The old. God left that on record. And we're saying, because we don't like the statement, the Lord put him to death for it. This is the place today. And there was no Mount Carmel nowhere on planet Earth but the address that he gave. This is the place today. If someone can show me something different, I'd be interested to know. No, I'm closing with these statements. Well, a man robbed God, yet you have robbed me. But he's saying, where have you robbed thee? In tithes and offering. Ye are cursed with a curse. For ye have robbed me, even this whole nation. Bring ye all the tithes into the storehouse. No, you sell off the place. Where is the storehouse? What do we do with our tithe? Who do we give our tithe? Who did God talk to collect the tithe? Where's the storehouse? Now listen what the inspiration says, quickly. And we want to know. Swan, can you read the statement what it says?
There are only two places in the universe where we can place our treasures. In God's storehouse or in Satan.
You hear that? Where is God's storehouse today? Now, if we don't know where the storehouse is, we're contributing to Satan. If we take our tithe and put it anywhere than where the Lord's storehouse is, it goes straight to the devil. No. Track 4. And the command, bring all the tithes into the storehouse, being placed in this particular chapter of the Bible, shows beyond pre-adventure that God entrusts his storehouse to the messengers of the special truth for this time. Where is his storehouse? When we give our tithe, now I'm closing off right here. Feed thy people with thy rod. The verb feed is to be understood as spiritual food, and that food truth is found in the rod. Therefore, we again have the command to give out the book. Feed, God's people, Carmel, Bashan, and Gilead are used as symbol of bad spiritual pasture. No bad. It's all bad.
Can I get the reference for the previous slide?
Counsel and stewardship. There are more statements to read. I was supposed to go further, but for time's sake, I won't wear you all out. Inspiration and closing with the answer book. Feed thy people with thy rod, the flock of thine heritage which dwell solitary in the wood, in the midst of Carmel, let them feed in Bashan and Gilead as in the days of old. Feed thy people with thy rod. The verb feed is to be understood as spiritual food, and that food truth is found in the rod. Therefore, we again have the command to give out the book. Feed, God's people, Carmel, Bashan, and Gilead are used as symbols of good spiritual pasture. These places are where Israel had their victory. Sister Swan, we're closing with you with this statement, please.
Seemeth it a small thing unto you to have eaten up the good pasture, but ye must tread down with your feet the residue of your pastures, and to have drunk of the deep waters when you must follow the residue of your feet? Do they indeed think it tolerable to accept only a part of the truth he sends to them, and to tread down with their feet the residue? Then he adds, as for my flock, they eat that which ye have trodden with your feet, and they drink that which ye have followed with your feet. And because of those who accept only that part of the message which suits their unregenerate tastes, which does not cross their perverse wills, the Lord forewarns, I will judge between cattle and cattle.
Amen. Brother Calvin, go ahead.
Yes,
Give him the mic. You can give him the mic. Oh, yeah.
someone laughing about it. I think it's a lot to actually draw on, right? But
I can give you the study tool. I can make the study available to you.
yeah. Kevin about this, so I can get into some of the details. But I believe strongly that the term Carmel represents God's church.
That's the Seventh-day Adventist Church.
Seventh Adventist church, yeah.
Can you give us a reference?
Okay, I can actually do that here. But what I would ask you first of all is that we know there's a premise that the pastures have been withered, like Sharon, Gilead, Lebanon, and Carmel. But according to Rod, we see that I think it's in chapter 6. There's
let's give you a mic so we can hear you clearly. But one of the things over the culture, as we're moving on, not to...
Goodness.
No, let's... Let them settle down. For the feeling, you have to see? Do it. Yeah, just on a premise before we move on, so we don't get a lot of confusion. Could you give us a reference?
I'll give a reference.
No, that's my question. Could you give us a reference for the Seventh-day Adventist Church in Carmel?
Okay. What I want to say, first of all, the context in which the rod is written. First of all, it says that the message that we have today is to be given to the church, the Adventist Church. So, it tells us that when a writer writes, we must, in order to understand what he's actually saying, we must compare the verses in the chapter, or the entire chapter, or even the entire Bible, to actually come to a right understanding, because you see that these statements have written in the rod, and yet there are so many conflicting statements, ideas coming about as a result of these statements. But when we look at the rod's message, the purpose of the rod's message, we recognize that the message is to be given to the church. Elijah's message is to be given to the church. The other thing too is that, as I said before, the question might come on ask though. And the time will come before I get into what I want to say in full detail. But what I would like to ask in case the premise is that...
Hold on before you go, Brother Calvert.
No, I don't want to deal too much on any questions.
Oh, say not.
A question I want to ask you.
No, the reason why now, you told us before, and this is one of the things too, this is one of the points that we brought up, that some teach at Carmel is a church. And I'm going to take the questions.
Yeah.
And what I just wanted to find out for all of us.
The
reference.
If you go to the General Conference Special. The General Conference Special, right? It's page 35 to 36.
I put on the screen so everyone can see it.
It is addressing how the people are to be fed in God's church. Because we recognize that the feeding is taking place in Carmel.
Where is the reference?
General Conference Special from 34, I think it's the second paragraph. And it's very version to read it in your own spare time. 34, sorry.
He wants to bring it up.
Yeah, I know. Yeah.
So
On to
Just hold on a bit, just hold on a bit,
36.
so we can all see it together.
Yeah.
From 34?
From 34, yeah. Second
Okay.
paragraph. Talking about Elijah's message.
Which one?
Since God, yeah.
Oh, we're right. Yes, we're there. Since
God, yeah.
God is not experimenting?
Yeah, yeah.
Okay, sorry if it's fine. Go ahead.
So, you want me to read it?
No, I'm just looking for Carmel, the SDA church.
Okay, what I'm saying, the idea is that the message that we have today is to be given to the church. And note carefully, right, as I said, Brother said that we should be strong, logical reasons? Strong reasons? Some reasons, yeah. We recognize that the feeding is taking place in the church. However, all the message of the rod is directed to the church. The rain that we have, that rain is to fall in the church. Everyone grass in the field has to be developed by this rain. Not in Waco, Texas, but in the church. The feeding is like spiritual food, really. So, and the other thing is that we recognize that, the logical thing there. If Mount Carmel in Waco, Texas is the midst of the land, because don't care, it's a feeding in the midst of the land, midst of Carmel. So if that is midst, where else beyond Waco, Texas is Carmel? Because if I say I'm in the midst of America, I'm in Washington, D.C., beyond where I live, or where I dwell, is still America. So it's a logical way of reasoning. So they are feeding in the midst of Carmel shows that they are among the people in the church. Because another thing too, right? And as I said, we could actually take a lot of time to get into this, but what the question I'm dealing with really is...
So I'm going to say quickly, as I'm going to take a question. You want something, Brother Calvert? This is why... Brother Calvert,
Yeah, I'm going to say.
This is what I'm saying. We can easily put this to rest if you just give us a reference. Mount Carmel is a Seventh-day Adventist church.
Okay, what I'm saying, right? This is what I'm saying. Get me straight again. The message that we have... I can get into the reading, but what I'm saying, right?
Alright, it's going to take a time to
Yeah,
build the
but
case.
I don't want to waste everybody's time.
Alright, so
My basic question I want to ask, because I think this will actually help to actually answer some of the questions you want to
Okay.
understand. Because the idea that that the pastures, they're all withered. And this will help to answer where's Carmel.
no, hold on, I'm not hearing you. All pastures.
The pastures, previous pasture.
All
like
of them.
so basically Carmel and Sharon and Lebanon, they're withered.
Who said that?
But I mean, it's part by some Davidians.
No, hold on. No, brother, hold on, Brother Rock.
Wait,
Brother.
Okay.
Alright, hold on.
In other words,
No, hold on, Brother Culture. Here, I'm trying to figure the question, you know. First, you told us that you believe, first when you got up, that the SDA church is Carmel. We asked for a reference, but you said it takes logical reasoning. Alright. Now we're going to go now to Carmel. Our next question. We're still waiting on that answer, you know, but I talked about it.
the question mark is in the answer. The question mark is in the answer in the
Okay. So you answer the question and answer
Yeah, at the same time. Yeah. Because the church, if the church, Seventh Adventist church today, is basically non-existent, non-effective, and it's like God isn't regarded as really the place where the flock dwells. We see there that on page 38, sorry.
General conference special?
No, this is actually track 8.
So we move, alright, so we're closing general conference special then.
I just make reference to general conference to show that the message that we have today is to be given to the church. So, to be given to the church in general conference special. And the feeding, as the invitation is given to come on without money, without price to buy this food. The lattering, everything is to the church. All the messages, that's my way of actually looking at the message that we have today. And the feeding, the people who are going to be fed by this message is within God's church, the Adventist church. Not those of us at Mountaindale, Waco, Texas, Bashan, but the church is benefited from this message. It's not really, and I think that's where we as a people are being diverted from the real purpose of the message. Because if we understand the message is to be given to the church, we will understand that the feeding is a feed that God is in Carmel. Some will accept it and some will reject it. My mother feed all of us sometimes. She has 8 children. She feed all of her children, but sometimes when she cooks, someone refuses what she eats. But she could admit that she feeds. So not because the brethren in the church do not accept the message doesn't mean that they're not being fed. But the point of making
Hold on, Brother Kachi. Hold on. Alright, because we have to use all the time wisely too. What's what I'm saying? If me and Brother Garrick have a disagreement on something, hold on. If me and Brother Garrick have a disagreement on a point, we might disagree on the timing, but he can show me where it's written. All I'm saying to all of us, once we see Carmel is a Seventh-day Adventist church, we just move on from there. We don't have a problem with it. So once we see it, so we have to move on still.
You see what I'm right? I know you want to go into the direct statements that the church is Carmel. What I'm saying, right? In many cases, the church is called Israel, it is called Judah, it is called Jerusalem, it's called other these different terms. Carmel is associated with God's 2 people, where the heritage dwells. So what I'm saying, as I said, right? My question though, as I said, I don't want to actually live with the brother because I can actually sit down and actually deal with that issue. If the brother want to give me time to actually listen.
I can talk to you.
We can actually, I can pretty sure exactly logically that the church is where we are going to take the message to. But anyhow, as I said, track 6, because we are talking about.
Let's turn here. We're
track 6, yeah.
Hold on, let's go there.
Page 38. 38, yeah. It's a short reading, right?
We're going to go there.
Yeah.
I think we're there. Which page? Which paragraph? Sorry.
Last paragraph, please. 38.
This is to say?
Okay, I'm reading. It talks about until the vineyard is fully restored. The vineyard is fully restored.
Okay.
And it's dealing with Isaiah chapter 7, verse 25.
Mm-hmm.
And on all hills that shall be digged with the mattocks, there shall not come thither the fear of briars and thorns. That's the wheat of tears. It says in Isaiah chapter 7, verse 25. No, sorry, Isaiah 7, verse 25. First part, that is. That is to say, though, that while the whole vineyard has become full of briars and thorns, God has not forever forsaken it, that's the church, but will dig it with the mattocks, uproot the thorns and briars, and plant it once again with the choicest vines, for upon it he bestows his supreme regard. So here we see the church, yeah, this church, right? Which for some people is not God's special place at this point in time. What we are seeing here, according to Rodney's inspiration, that the church is the object of his supreme regard. And upon it, that's why God is laboring at this point in time to save the church. And his means of saving the church is by giving the church these opportunities, the privilege of actually hearing the rod. So that the people who are dwelling now in Carmel is where God's heritage dwells. One of what they're called Israel and Judah. And not until Ezekiel 9 slaughter God is not actually true with the church, it's the Seventh-day Adventist church. And one of he's purified the church. And as a result of this purification, it says the church, Seventh-day Adventist church, shall enter on a final conflict, fair as the moon, clear as the sun, and terrible as an armored banner. In reverse though, when it comes to the world, he says that the tears are taken out of the world. No, the wheat are taken out. When it comes to the church, the tears are taken out. Shows the difference, right? So the people that God has as his supreme regard are as his heritage, because we see in Micah 7:14, the heritage dwells in Carmel, Israel and Judah. And they are the ones who God actually has his supreme regard. So that can't, as far as God is concerned, that can't wither. That's in the church. Each person called the seventh, which should be the eighth church. And this is the church that will end up on a final conflict, fair as the moon, clear as the sun, and terrible as an armored banner.
Thank you.
Not
The time. Thank you. Brother Gary. And we're sorry, folks, we'll be sending you out soon.
All right. Thank you. If you would run back on your slides, it's maybe about slide number 7 or so. It's a picture with Mount Carmel, that aerial view that you had.
Right here?
No, the first aerial shot in its pristine state. It's the very early part of your study. And I want to superimpose that with
This one or the aerial view?
the aerial shot.
Okay.
Yeah. And the first one, yes, that
Yes.
one. And if you could bring up Micah 7:14, please. Then what page I didn't see the slide number. So, what slide number are you on so you can easily go back to it?
Yeah, I'm going to come find it.
Yes, you just passed it. There.
This one?
One more back, behind. That one.
This one?
Yes, what slide number is that on your side?
This is number 19.
19. So, go to 7:14 for me, please.
Oh, this is a comment. What are you doing? You want the verse itself?
Yes.
This
Yeah,
one?
that one. So,
The verse? What
Slide.
slide is this?
This is slide number 31.
okay.
So it's slide 19 and 31.
Yeah.
We need a new line.
All right, let me project my voice. Is that it? Can you hear me?
You have to talk like Eli now. Talk nice and calm.
Yeah, I can do that. I'll use my preaching voice.
Okay.
All right.
I know, but we're doing our best. So here, in Micah 7:14, it says, "Feed thy people with thy rod, the flock of thine heritage, which dwell solitary in the wood in the midst of Carmel. Let them feed in Bashan and Gilead as in the days of old."
Okay.
So the verse is saying that the people are dwelling in Carmel. But I note very interestingly on page 19, if you go back to slide 19, and it was interesting the remark you made that there's not even a house here. How do you harmonize the thought that nobody was living, even in 1935 when they bought the property, on March 15th, thereabouts.
Mhm.
No one was living there, yet the people who are dwelling in Carmel are to feed on the rod from 1930. Just a question.
Exactly. I mean, this is not even a question to me, brother. This is a question that the people, that's a wonderful question. Let me tell you what he's saying. How can they, in 1930, nobody was not even here. Said this was Carmel from 1930. Nobody was even there. The place is empty.
Even in 35.
Even in 35, they just came. So not until the place was established. So the idea, and this is what is happening, Brother Garrett. Once you spiritualize the place, Carmel can be a house, it can be a shop, it can be a phone booth. Some people say one person's house was Carmel. So even they say, while this didn't exist, any one person in any cabin, any ceiling, any cellar, any shop could be Carmel. It could be, it's intangible, it's ghostly.
No, what I'm saying is that the people were still feeding on the rod, even though this piece of land was uninhabited.
Exactly.
The people who were dwelling in Carmel were feeding on the rod all along. So we have to come up with an explanation that the place here that is called Carmel is uninhabited even in 35, yet people were to be feeding on the rod. I think that's an important question.
Exactly, and he answers the question though. This is what he said in the question. Let me go back. Let me go right here. Where he answers the question himself and tells you when Carmel came into being. He said it came into being in 1935. Exactly. So if he says it came into being in 1935, that's when it came into being. That's it. So I mean, even if 1935, because when they came here, I should have brought the picture. When they came to this place first, they were in a little tent. There was no water there to go by the creek. So once they came and bought the land, that's when it came into being. That's the very time it came into being. And what they were doing, they were working out of a hotel, so they were back and forth. They were in the town of Waco, and they used to travel back and forth. But the idea, what people think, that Carmel came into being from 1929, he himself said that is not so. Yes, Brother Calvin.
As I said before, right? The idea is not that Carmel came to be in 1935, as Brother Garrett said. I mean,
no, Brother Garrett asked a question.
Yes. Asked a question, but it's one thing, right? If we actually limited to a place in Texas,
that's what he did.
Yeah, no carefully, right? What we're doing, you're saying that at the time when they are to be fed, they're totally fed to feed the Carmel. I mean, people were living there. But no carefully, right?
People living where?
The Carmel. No carefully, right? They said feeding the dwelling.
No, hold on, brother. Hold on. You're talking fast. Let me slow down. When he says the feeding in 29, people are living in Carmel.
No, I'm saying nobody was living there.
Okay.
But what I'm saying, right? We recognize that they're told to feed them that dwell in the midst of Carmel. Think about it, right? Think about this carefully.
This is logical reasoning.
Yeah, this is logical.
Okay.
Which we actually encourage to do. If they're told to feed them that dwell in the midst of Carmel, it means that where they dwell is only in the midst, central. Beyond where they dwell is in Carmel. So if it's a literal place.
Hold on, brother. Let me get you to understand. Let me explain what Brother Calvin is saying here. When, let's say we are going to Neosho. From here to Neosho, let's say it's 40, it's 70 miles. Midst would be 35 miles in the middle. So you have, it's a tripod explanation there. Carmel in the first part, a middle part, and an end part. But listen now, 10 can have mids, you know.
Yeah, 10 can be.
10 can have mids, and 8.
Yeah.
And 20.
It's true.
And 50.
But
now hold on, we're logically here. So you can't say mids is 3. Yeah. Am I correct?
But here's something, right?
Now hold on.
Yeah, you're correct.
No, so listen now, you can't say because you had Mount Carmel and it's mids. You have a next place at Mountain Dale. That is the next part of it. So because you can have 70 as mids.
No, I'm not saying that. This is all saying carefully, right?
Yeah.
I am unbiased in this whole discussion, right? I know Mountain Dale, about Waco, about Bashan, and about the truth. The Bible is biblical truth. Look at the carefully, right?
Yeah.
We asked to feed them that dwell in the midst of Carmel.
Yeah.
That's the commission.
Yeah.
Feed them that dwell in the midst of Carmel. Think about it, right? The term midst is widespread in the Bible. Like here, for instance, it says in Isaiah 19 that Israel should be a blessing in the midst of the land. And further says in parenthesis, the church. He says also to that Israel in the midst.
Close.
Okay, yeah. Sorry.
Well, that's a close thought.
Yeah.
I'll pick it up with you.
Yeah.
But Brother Caldrick, for me, once you show me the reference and the
But I'll show you a reference.
yeah, we don't have to reason logic.
But it's something the Bible is our guidance.
True.
Said, but says that use that as a
So we're putting away the rod now?
No. He says when is the point of controversy and discussion? Consult what the writers, what the author writes. So this is consult with the verses, or the entire chapter, or the entire Bible, to see how much is in harmony with all of these.
Amen.
Bible. Yeah.
Let's pray. Brother Billy.
What a wonderful Savior you are to us, Lord. We thank you so much for sitting on the Spirit-filled presentation this morning. Our hearts have been buoyed up with the fact that you have taken such time with us. We thank you for such marvelous revelation. We pray that what we sat and listened to this morning will give real concern. We'll ponder. You've taken such time with us. The evidences are clear and overwhelming, Lord, that you're working to unite us on the basis of your truth. We thank you for your servant who presented such a marvelous presentation this morning. And we pray for those who have been listening. That is not about us, it is about the voice of God who speaks through the word for us today, so that we can be prepared to go home with you. We have time. How long, Lord, how long are we going to continue being stubborn and rebellious in the face of such marvelous truths? Have mercy, we pray. Have mercy. And the rest of this day is spent in our contemplating seriously what you have said to us this morning. Let no one, Lord, no one close up their hearts and their mind to what was said this morning. The evidences come from the mouth of your servant Elijah. Help us to really invite those things. We thank you for bringing us here this morning. We thank you for living in such a time that is sublime. So have your way. Have your way. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen. Amen.
My apology about the time that I kept you over. God bless you and have a wonderful Sabbath, folks.